Welcome back. Joining us now is WFISD Superintendent Dr. Donnie Lee. There's a lot to talk about, so thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Of course, no problem.
All right, so let's just get started here with, they're still doing the shuffling from opening the 2 new high schools, shuffling around the districts. So Jefferson Elementary is one of the schools that's going to be moving now with people from, McNeil moving into Ryder and all of that. So now McNeil will be the new location for the Jefferson Elementary students. So what can you tell about the parents, concerned about, their kids needing to get to school, on the other side of Southwest Parkway now?
Yes, so with Jefferson closing, what that's going to look like is those students will literally that campus will get picked up and moved into McNeil Elementary. And a couple things about concerns about if they're having to rezone, which is always an emotional decision for parents, right? It's an emotional time because it's a change. Their kid is used to a certain teacher at a campus. They've made friends. We understand all of that. However, we also want parents to understand that McNeil is going to be a spectacular learning environment for their students. It's going to have a STEAM center. It's going to have 2 playgrounds. It's going to have those same great and amazing teachers. And one other note I'd like to add is these elementaries that are combining are all high-performing elementaries. There's been some concern, well, you're taking a high-performing campus and you're splitting it with Fowler or West, but Jefferson's high performing as well. And so was Crockett when they were in the discussion. They were rated 89 and 90 the previous year. So these are high A's and B campuses. And so McNeil is going to be a spectacular high performing elementary as well.
And speaking of McNeil, how's construction going on that timeline? And are we having to tear down big walls to go into any big projects? What's the update on that? Yeah,
we are literally tearing. It's a floor to ceiling renovation. It's not a refresh. A lot of our other campuses have been lights, ceiling tiles, a little paint, and we move kids in and it looks bright and fresh. McNeil Elementary is a complete renovation. So we are tearing down complete wings and installing hubs. And so for parents that had concerns about this huge elementary, or I've seen it termed mega elementary, this elementary is going to be divided into segments. And so the kids won't see the whole thing. So the kindergarten will have their own hub, similar to West Elementary. So the kindergartners will only be in their section. First grade, second grade, so on and so forth. They'll have their own restrooms in that area. Kindergartners will have their own restrooms in their classrooms, have their own playground. But construction is on time. If you went by it and looked inside it, there's no walls up. It's just a wide open, empty area right now, doing some abatement treatment, but it's on schedule.
Right, and because we're kind of giving those amenities and adding those to the building, I know that the building itself, I believe, can hold about 900 or 950, but we're only going to have roughly 650?
Yes.
And is that the reason why, because of some of the amenities and stuff that we're adding?
Well, it's that, and we don't want it to be, packed in there at max capacity. So it can hold 900. We'll have in there about 650. We don't want it maxed out like currently Fowler is maxed. They're about 10 kids away from max capacity of that building. So when you walk into McNeil, you don't see kids all over the place, shoulder to shoulder. They'll have a little flexibility, room for growth, and so when parents walk in, it'll feel open, airy, safe, protected with each kid in their quadrant.
It's probably smaller classroom sizes too, which doesn't hurt either.
Well, we're going to ensure that by law you can't have more than 22 to 1 in each classroom. So we'll abide by that. We'll have that or less in every classroom.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Now with stuff still moving around, why don't you tell us about the plan to relocate the bilingual program from Southern Hills into Fane, and how are the parents kind of reacting to that?
Yeah, so this is some other zoning taking place on the other side of town, and we are expanding our partnership with Third Future Schools. We like what we're seeing at Hershey Middle School with kids really understanding where they're at from an academic standpoint. So our board entered into an additional extension of that agreement month before last to include Southern Hills and Booker T. Washington. Well, at Southern Hills, we have a wonderful bilingual program, and we are not confident that we're just going to give up that awesome high-performing program and just say, Third Future, you can have it. We want control and access of that to ensure that our students are still receiving a high-quality bilingual education, and so we're rezoning them to Fane. Well, in order to make room for 120 or 125 students, we need to move that amount of students out of Fane, and they will go to Third Future, and that's the students that are at Professional Drive currently. So those that are at Professional Drive, that currently go to Fane will be rezoned to Southern Hills 26-27 school year.
And how does Zundy kind of fit into all of this? Like,
Zundy will not be messed with at all, so there's no zone changes for them. What we're going to be looking at and presenting to our Board of Trustees is a refresh for Zundy. So that goes back to the new paint, ceiling tiles, lights. They got an elevator in there, and that building's 100 years old.
Wow.
So it needs some work. There may be some foundation issues that we have to address, but Zundy, the entire zone, is not being touched.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, let's move into TEA talk now a little bit. Any word from them at all on the future of the WFISD or anything?
No, the last time we've heard from Mike Morath was during his campus visit. That's been a month ago. We had a phone call with him a couple weeks ago. No insight. I think they're too busy with Fort Worth, and so we've heard nothing since then.
I was going to ask, is it normal to see these kind of delays from TEA?
Well, you know, we wouldn't know because we've never been in this position before. We keep talking and with them and asking for updates. We're really anxious about, you know, what are the decisions that are taking place in Austin. They've already talked to us about they wouldn't do anything different than what we're doing now, that we're heading in a really good trajectory. And so we just want to know what is the status. Leave us alone. We're headed in a really good direction, and we want to be locally controlled from now and in the future.
Gotcha. All right. Well, here's to hoping more good things on the way and more good news during this transitional time.
That's exactly right.
Let's get left alone.
That's right. Yeah.
For sure. All right. Dr. Lee, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
we
thanks for having me.
appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.